Standing before the guarded room, Meguru couldn't shake off the feeling of unease that gnawed at him. The two men in suits gestured for him to enter, their expressions unreadable. With a sense of trepidation, he stepped forward, his heart pounding in his chest. As he entered the room, Meguru was greeted by a sight that left him speechless. Before him stood a group of individuals, each radiating an aura of power and authority. Among them was a man whose presence commanded respect, his sharp gaze fixed upon Meguru with intense scrutiny. The man spoke with a voice that brooked no argument, his words carrying the weight of authority. He introduced himself as a representative of the Hunters Association, tasked with overseeing special operations of utmost importance. Meguru listened attentively as the man explained the reason for his summons. It seemed that Meguru's remarkable performance in the special exam had not gone unnoticed, and he had been selected for a top-secret mission of vital importance to the association. The mission, the man explained, involved infiltrating a highly dangerous dungeon that had recently appeared on the outskirts of the city. Rumors had circulated about the dungeon's sinister nature, with reports of mysterious disappearances and sightings of grotesque monsters roaming its depths. Meguru's task was clear: to venture into the heart of the dungeon, gather intelligence, and neutralize any threats that posed a danger to the city and its inhabitants. It was a perilous mission fraught with danger, but one that was essential for the safety and security of all. Despite the gravity of the situation, Meguru felt a surge of determination coursing through his veins. He knew that this mission was his chance to prove himself, to show the world what he was truly capable of. With a firm nod, he accepted the challenge, steeling himself for the trials that lay ahead. As he prepared to embark on this new adventure, Meguru couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement tinged with apprehension. The journey ahead would be fraught with peril, but he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. With his resolve firm and his determination unwavering, Meguru steeled himself for the challenges that awaited him in the depths of the dungeon. For he knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but with courage and determination, he was ready to confront whatever obstacles stood in his way. She realized that it was the charm Meguru had given her earlier, and she quickly understood its significance. With a surge of determination, Kana focused her energy and channeled her magic through the charm, creating a protective barrier around herself. Meanwhile, Meguru's fury reached its peak as he witnessed the danger Kana was in. With a roar of anger, he unleashed his full power, shattering the magical lock on the door with a single strike. The old man's smug expression faltered as Meguru stormed towards him, his eyes burning with righteous fury. Ignoring the old man's attempts to reason with him, Meguru demanded that he release Kana immediately. The old man hesitated for a moment before reluctantly complying, ordering his men to untie Kana and release her from captivity. As Kana rushed into Meguru's arms, relief flooded through him. He held her tightly, vowing to protect her no matter what. With Kana safe by his side, Meguru turned his attention back to the old man, his resolve unwavering. In a voice filled with steely determination, Meguru declared that he would never forgive the old man for what he had done. With a swift motion, he grabbed the old man by the collar, his grip tightening with each passing moment. The old man's facade of calmness cracked under Meguru's intense gaze, his eyes betraying a hint of fear. Realizing that he was no match for Meguru's strength and determination, the old man relented, promising to make amends for his actions. With the crisis averted and Kana safe once more, Meguru felt a sense of relief wash over him. As they left the room together, he knew that their ordeal was far from over. But with Kana by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As they emerged from the underground facility, Meguru and Kana were greeted by the warm rays of the sun, a symbol of hope and renewal. Hand in hand, they walked away from the building, their bond stronger than ever before. With their hearts united and their spirits unbroken, Meguru and Kana knew that no matter what trials awaited them in the future, they would face them together, ready to overcome any obstacle in their path. And as they looked towards the horizon, they knew that their journey was far from over. He gets down on the ground, knowing that he can't take the monster down in one blow with his low steps. He casts his power once again, knowing that it can't be helped. The monster emerges from the underground and tries to grab him, but fortunately, he avoids it. It breaks the ground he was standing on, but he knows he has to stop it from moving. So he swings his sword and slices off the monster's feet. It screams in pain, and he uses the opportunity to jump to its other foot. Then he slices off its other foot, causing it to collapse to the ground. Then he readies the spell he cast earlier was to make himself airborne. He jumps to the top of the monster. Then he notices sharp ice crystals on top of them. He turns around in the air while the monster behind him opens its mouth to bite him. He uses his magic to cut off the sharp crystals. They fall on the monster's head, piercing through its head. He gets down behind it, and it collapses to the ground dead. As he walks away, Kana and the others are surprised to witness that he really took the monster down by himself. Hana tightly holds his weapon, sensing something. After defeating the boss, it emits a light and releases something in front of them. His attack increases by 15, attack speed by 12, magic attack by 13, magic speed by 11, defense by 7, and magic resistance by 7. He looks at his body, realizing that everything on him has increased by 5, and the XP efficiency is really the biggest advantage of being jobless. Kana tells him that she knows he isn't the same Meguru from before. Wordly, he wonders if Kana has figured out that he is a different person. He turns around and asks Hana what she's talking about, but she tells him not to try to trick her and that there's no way he could have grown so much stronger in such a short amount of time. She also tells him that there is definitely something off, and he has been hiding how strong he was all this time. He tries to explain to her, but Kana sadly asks him why he's been hiding it, and if they aren't friends. He pats her head and tells her that he trained in secret because he wanted to protect her. It's what he truly feels, and he swears that he will never let something like that happen again. Then he tells Hana that they should get out of there and report to the association. Later, at the Shinjuku Branch Hunter Association, they are at the desk, and the lady asks them to confirm if they are saying that the boss of a C-rank dungeon was defeated by a single jobless hunter, and that it was a boss that killed 2 D-rank adventurers. The girl with them replies that it's true, and they saw it with their own eyes. The man at the desk tells them that it's just unbelievable, and it would make more sense if they stabbed those 2 in the back after the boss was defeated or something. He realizes that they don't like the fact that a jobless hunter defeated the boss on his own. Kana tells the man that they would never do something like that and urges him to tell them too. Meguru tells them that the 2 competent hunters lowered their guard in the dungeon, and if he can be honest for a moment, he tells them that it's disrespectful to the dead. The man and the lady at the desk are stunned in fear. The man at the desk laughs fearfully until tells them that it's not what he meant. He walks away telling the people at the desk that if they won't believe it, they should just record it as the 4 of them working together to take the monster down. Kana looks angrily at the people at the desk and runs to catch up with him. Then they see a man enter the building. The man is the branch chief of the Hunter Association. He looks at Meguru and notices a powerful aura behind him. His gaze is fixed on Meguru when the lady at the desk calls him Wordly. The chief glares at Meguru and wonders who he is. Kana calls him and asks if it's really okay for them to have left it like that. He replies that he doesn't care about getting the credit. Kana smiles and holds Meguru's hand, realizing that he's really the same Meguru he knows according to Izumi's memories. Kana and he should live there, and they were next-door neighbors. Later he lies on his bed looking at his phone and realizing that it's a modern smartphone. He thinks about how much everything has changed while scrolling through his phone. He stops when he notices the news about Matsubara Miyoshi. His expression changes as he remembers how Miyoshi betrayed him and mocked him. He smiles, closes his phone, sits down on his bed, and tells Miyoshi that he's overjoyed to think that they could reunite so soon. Meanwhile, in China, Miyoshi asked the man if he had just said that the other dungeon masters had been slowing down. Butler replied yes. Miyoshi smiled and remarked that after 100 years, it seemed like it was finally time. He then extinguished his cigarette and informed the man that he was heading out. The butler bowed and humbly requested Miyoshi to take the utmost care. Miyoshi assured the butler not to worry and said, "Who do you think I am?" He introduced himself as one of the 6 heroes, Matsubara Miyoshi, and instructed the butler to be in charge during his absence. 100 years ago, Miyoshi became the manager of an S-rank dungeon and conquered all of China with its power. However, in order to expand his territory further, he needed to conquer Japan before his rivals beat him to it. He opened his phone and ordered the person on the other line to start gathering the troops immediately. He then warned the person that if he failed, he knew the consequences. The next day, in the Hunters Association, he approached the lady at the desk and asked if she had any job requests. The lady replied that he was an F-rank jobless hunter. Knowing that hunter recruitment emphasized rank and job, he understood that it was tough to get requests with his current stats. Nevertheless, hunters had no choice but to clear dungeons to become stronger. He told the lady that he didn't mind how far away the dungeon was and asked if she couldn't find something for him. However, the lady explained that if he wanted a better job, he needed to raise his rank first. Chana, filled with frustration, told the lady to stop playing games and demanded to know how Meguru could raise his rank if he couldn't clear any dungeons. She angrily hit the desk, expressing her frustration with the circular reasoning. The chief of the Hunters Association came out inquiring about the commotion and asking if something had happened. They explained the situation to the chief, who promptly apologized for the rudeness of their employees. The chief then looked at Meguru's record and suggested that if he wanted to raise his rank immediately, he should take the special exam. Curious, Meguru asked what the special exam was. The chief explained that every month the hunter's skill exam was held in an underground facility, and passing hunters would rank up regardless of their current rank. It was a tough exam.